King Randall, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely glad to be here.
Okay, so my first question, is King your real name?
Absolutely, King Randall the First. That's my full first and last name. Well, not my full name. My full name is King Lakeet Anton Randall the First.
Hold on, you said Lakeet?
Yes.
Meaning the H is silent, it's just Lakeet.
It's no H.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like that.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, thanks for being in today. How have things been since the Roland Martin interview? That's where I first became privy of you. Have things picked up a lot?
We have to get out and go do for self in our own communities.
So define do for self.
When I say do for self, you shared one of my tweets, my videos, and I was actually a big fan of yours, but you shared one of my tweets when I said black people need to stop begging the government and go and do for self out in our communities. You shared the video and called me an idiot. I didn't see anything idiotic about that statement at all.
So when you say do for self, like what? Mm-hmm. Explain that.
Here in Albany, Georgia, we complain about our school systems a lot. Many of our young men can't read. They have very horrible literacy rates. We don't have any rehab programs here for juvenile offenders. What I decided to do, I started a program 2 years ago, decided to do for self, and I started taking children into my home. I started taking custody of kids from juvenile court, and I started molding them and training them and teaching them skilled trades, etc. Now I'm 21 years old. I just purchased a school here in Albany, Georgia, to combat us being in the government-funded schools that are not teaching our children what they need to learn. And we just bought a school bus simply from going out and doing work. We decided to go fix our own communities. I'm not expecting anything from no politician. I'm not expecting nothing from Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or nobody. We're going to go do it for ourselves, and that's what I believe we need to be doing.
Absolutely. Been quite busy. Definitely doing a lot of interviews and things like that. Kind of doing a lot of promotion for the school, answering questions, taking phone calls, etc. Thousands of emails.
Thousands?
Yeah, thousands of emails. Lots of orders in our merchandise store. It's been a lot, but we've been able to handle it so far. But definitely brought us a lot of fans and a lot of support for the work that we're doing.
So that's exactly what you wanted, because you're able to monetize going viral.
I guess so, yeah, absolutely. We just want to be able to make sure that we're able to take care of the things we need to take care of for our boys, absolutely.
So, and we're going to get into your boys in the school that you're opening, which is amazing. So I saw this explosive interview with you and Roland. The headlines were like, 21-year-old eviscerates Roland Martin. I'm like, what is this? I have to see this. So basically what had happened was there was a tweet where Roland was criticizing your beliefs and your platform, and he ended up calling you an idiot, which stung when I saw that. I want to know, where were you when you heard about this? You know, were you just on the toilet scrolling? Like, where were you when you saw this?
Well, this particular video I made, I know some people kind of get a little iffy about the words do for self, because they're thinking I'm saying, you know, we got to lift ourselves up by the bootstraps and, you know, eliminate, you know, what people may have owed us or anything like that. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying I'm not waiting for those things. We should get up and, you know, do for self in our communities. But yeah, he shared the video and called me an idiot. Now, mind you, I was a fan of his. And so I was like,
you speaking past tense now.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was a fan, but you know, somebody, they was like, you know, Roland just shared your video, called you an idiot. I was like, what? I was like, why? You know, and one of his panelists, Ms. Erica Savage, she actually, you know, has interviewed me multiple times on her platform, et cetera, because she, you know, loves the work that I do. But yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. And so
did it make you angry? Like, did you want to fight? Did you
no, I don't get.
Daddy to go fight him? You just 21. You know,
yeah,
you
most people who know me, I don't get angry. Only people that can, you know, make me upset is my mom, my grandma, my son's mother. That's it.
Gotcha. You look like you got hands though. Do you have hands?
I mean, I was in the Marine Corps, so
I was in the Army. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. But yeah, I didn't necessarily get angry. I kind of just ignored it, you know. But after that, he made a few other tweets a few months later about voter suppression, and he tagged me and was calling me a Republican and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not a Republican, I'm conservative. I'm like, but I'm not a Republican, and voting is not my fight. But he invited me to come on the show anyway, and I came on the show, and you know, he was trying to attack me about the voter stuff, and I wasn't really disagreeing with the things he was saying. You know, I was just like, but that's not my fight. I'm like, I do other things. And people are like, well, why is this your fight? You know, you could fight there too. I'm just like, I really can't. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand like the stuff that I deal with every day, you know, dealing with these kids who live with me in my house. I'm like, I have people, you know, in our communities that do fight, you know, in that area. And so if people have questions of me about those things, I send them to them. Just like those people who do fight for voter suppression and things like that where I live, if they have children they need to work with, they send them to me.
So
you know?
I got what Roland was saying, and I got what you were saying. And Roland is like 31 years, your senior.
Yeah, I think like 52, I think. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
but what emboldened you to respond? Like, did you have some brown liquor the night before? Like, what made you say, I'm finna face off with the Roland Martin? At the age of 21, we cannot look over that. You're 21. Most folks at 21 not opening a school, they opening something else. You know, so what empowered you to say, I'm gonna respond to him and stand my ground?
Well, I just stand firm on my beliefs, and I don't come with theory. That's one thing he didn't do before he brought me on the show. He didn't vet me. He didn't know who I was. So when he did ask me the question about doing for self, he thought I was going to come with theory like most other people do. No, I came with the receipts and the work behind, what I was talking about. And so there was really no response, to be able to say anything after that, because I've done the work about what I was talking about. It's not no theory, it's being done. So that's kind of where I stand with that.
So when you say words like, as a black man, when you say words like Republican, conservative, it can trigger some folks.
Absolutely.
They don't even want to hear what you have to say, because thinking about conservatism or republicanism as a whole, they're thinking, many of them say that black people are lazy, we are responsible for our own oppression. So how do you align, or how do you differentiate yourself from those ideologies?
Absolutely. What's been beautiful since the Roland thing was, because I do, call myself a black conservative, I'm not Republican, I'm independent.
What's the difference between conservative and Republican?
Conservative, you got conservative Democrats. I mean, the word conservative means I just want to conserve my way of life, conserving manhood, conserving our family structure, et cetera. That's literally conservatism, to me.
So you're not anti-LGBTQ?
No.
Okay, anti-abortion, you're not?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pro whatever you want to do your thing. However, I'm wanting to conserve our family structure, conserving our manhood, conserving, teaching our boys how to be men, et cetera. That's what I believe in.
You're going to have to put that on a t-shirt, because many people don't associate conservatism with that.
Right,
so
but
you're going to have to write it all on the shirt.
But what's been beautiful is people have been able to come see me, the pro-black people, et cetera. I have conservative in all my bios, et cetera, but people are listening, and I'm like, the message is something that you like, and people are agreeing with the message. It's just a unity message, and we can do things for our community. One thing about me, I don't bash or do any, mudslinging and things like that, so it's all positivity on my end. So now I'm able to open the door for people to actually listen to a black conservative, because most people think of Candace Owens or Brandon Tatum, things like that, when they hear black conservative. I'm just like, I don't bash my community at all. I won't do that.
So you don't feel like you have to take a side? Because I was browsing your Instagram, it's really cool, but I saw you had a picture with T.I. A couple posts later, you had posted a video about Candace Owens, and they had a scuffle, a verbal scuffle at once.
Yep.
But also, she was really critical of George Floyd. I saw things on your page about the I Can't Breathe movement. So it's like, are you riding the fence? Do you feel like you have to take a side? Because to post Candace Owens after she said that George Floyd was a porn star and he was an addict, basically blaming him for his death, how do you still find the balance between respecting people like that?
Absolutely. Well, for in my opinion, you don't have to agree with everything somebody says. But when she told the truth, she tells the truth. She tells the truth often. I don't agree with everything she says, nor her delivery on things, nor, the things she said about George Floyd, et cetera, but she still has times where she tells the truth. Just like I don't agree with everything T.I. may do or say, but he's on my page, so it's just things like that. But people, are critical of some of the things that, go on with police brutality and things like that, but everybody has different opinions. I'm not one of those one-track mind people, or people think everybody has to be a monolith, and everybody, to be black, you all got to think like this, et cetera. I'm just like, we don't have a this is how to be black, book, or people will say, oh, you're not black enough because you talk like this, or you're not black enough because you go to this school, et cetera. I'm just like, there's no such thing as black enough. Everybody has a different African-American experience here, but, I don't say riding the fence. I just believe in what I believe in. This is just me. I don't really care to, cater to anybody's beliefs. I just do my own thing, and I allow my children to believe that they can think for themselves.
That's good. So one of the things that Roland pushed you on was this do for self thing. And you're like, well, we shouldn't be begging the government, and we shouldn't wait on the government. How do you differentiate begging the government versus getting what we're owed?
Right. So my thing was, I think where people kind of get a little confused is they're thinking I'm saying don't ask the government for anything, or things like that. I'm just saying I'm not waiting. Don't wait, for the government.
So if you
to
get
do
a
those
stimulus
things.
check, you're not gonna give it back. That's
Oh no, absolutely not. If the government gives you something, take it. But I'm not waiting either. I'm just like, we still got to go out here and do stuff for our own communities.
Because I begged for the stimulus check and I finally got it.
Hey, it is
I
what
made
it
a
is.
whole song about it. I'm saying? I ask the
I get
government
it.
for what I want, right?
I get it, but hey, it is what it is with me. I believe, of course there are some grants and stuff that can help our communities, et cetera. I get that. However, that's just not where I'm at. I believe in, going to do it for ourselves, because as long as we're giving somebody the power to feed us, we're giving them the power to starve us as well. And that's what I said on the show.
I like that.
That's what I said on his show.
Well, do you believe in the power of voting? Do you think it's not important?
I believe it's important. I believe it's a tactic, but as far as it changing anything like major in our communities, absolutely not. There's no one piece of legislation, paper, or anything that a law or a vote has done to change anything major in our communities. Actually,
you don't think so?
Absolutely.
Our communities,
no.
Voting Rights Act, affirmative action.
No, our communities have
Fair Housing Act.
Our communities have declined since we were able to vote. Our communities were here before we were able to vote. Now we are here, regardless of all those acts passing. Not to mention,
really, with more black women and men in government now.
Go look at our communities. I don't care about no representation. Go look at our communities. I don't care about being represented in government. I don't care how many black faces you put in a high place. It's still owned by those same people who want to keep us down. So I don't care about those black faces in high places. If we don't own those high places or run those high places, I don't care who's in there. I don't care about representation. That means nothing to me. I believe in the things that we own, like owning our own school. We can have a whole black school board, but who owns that school board? So I'm just like, we have to create our own systems, create our own banks, hospitals, etc. So there's always going to be racism in those areas.
And when I say representation, I mean having a seat at the table.
Right, absolutely. Right? Yeah. I get it, but even at the table, I got to eat their food. I want to have my own table.
So you don't like raisins, that's what you're saying?
No, I don't like raisins. It is what it is. But other than that, that's kind of where I stand with that. But even with people not understanding, like with the whole Democrat Party, Republican Party thing, like if you look at the Civil Rights Act and all that stuff, it was actually more Republicans that voted for the Civil Rights Act, et cetera, at that time for it to pass through. The Democrats are the ones who said that they didn't want that to pass through. And I always say,
we also know that the definitions of Republicans and Democrats have changed since.
People always say that but can never give like a direct when did it switch? How did it switch? It didn't switch. It never did, because they're still doing the same things. Malcolm even said, one party's buying you with a smile, the other one buying you with a growl. Either way, you're still being bitten. We just being bit with a smile, and that's what we like.
You got some good quotes. You have some good quotes.
I read a lot.
Okay, but all right, so we're talking about anti-government, and you just brought up Malcolm X. I know you have some thoughts about Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was at the table. When I say representation, he was representing us. He's the one who helped the Civil Rights Act pass. He did sit at the table with the white folks.
I think he's the most important leader we had.
I agree with that. So what, if anything, did you learn from the Roland Martin interview? Did you feel like he was attacking you, or he was trying to learn you something because you're young?
Well, of course. See, you can tell when the elder is trying to teach and then when they're trying to be attacking. I don't like to say nobody acting like no female, but that's just, to me, what he was doing.
Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah, but
don't say that.
He was acting like my mom or something like that. I'm just like, bruh, come on, dude. Like, we supposed to be grown men, and you up here trying to, but don't you got to ride on the road? That's government. I'm like, dude, like, we not trying to be literal. Stop playing games, dude. But obviously, people understood what I was saying. That's what they were saying in most of the comments, and et cetera. But he was just trying to find anything to argue about. I'm just like, I'm not here to argue with you. We're just here to have a conversation. You know?
You said you used to be a fan of Roland's.
Absolutely.
Are you not anymore? Have you lost respect?
Oh, I mean, I got love for him. It is what it is.
Would you share an Uber with him?
Sure, absolutely. I don't have no hate towards him or anything like that. I wouldn't mind, reconciling or anything like that. But I don't want to create no enemies with nobody or anything like that. Now, if you want to be an enemy, then that's cool. Hey, it is what it is. But I'm all for unity and love, not arguing with each other in front of people, etc. I just don't like that. I don't see the point in that, especially in our community. We should be able to. That's something he should have called me about over the phone, and we should have, hashed it out there. But trying to, down talk me and stuff like that, and couldn't even say good job or nothing. Those are things like that I don't like, but it is what it is.
You said he still wants to come to the school. You gonna let him come?
Oh, no, he's not coming. I rescinded that invitation.
Did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Because of the little slick stuff he was saying, like after I got off and the little panel and the stuff they had to say, then going back and making another YouTube video about it, and still got trashed by all your followers and lost more followers. But because of that, I was just like, ain't no point, because I don't have time, because you want to keep being childish.
So I'm wondering how much of the pushback that you get, which it seems like you get a lot of support, but I'm wondering how much of that is rooted in he's young, he don't know what he's talking about, he don't know what he's doing, he's still wet behind the ears. What have you experienced or what have you seen up to this point to qualify you for this moment in time?
Absolutely. Well, for the past 2 years, I've been doing a lot of work. I've dealt with a lot of you're too young and what do you know about teaching young men how to be men, et cetera. I'm just like, well, give me a second. So now I've been doing this since I was 19. I've been having kids in my home, teaching them skilled trades, teaching them how to work on cars, work on houses, et cetera. I've been doing this, but now we have the data and the percentages to prove, I guess I know what I'm talking about because these children are not going back to jail. They're learning how to read. They're becoming proficient in the skilled trades, et cetera. So obviously our formula is working. So it's like a lot of people don't really have a lot to say anymore because I'm doing the work and I'm doing things that people should have been doing a while back, a while ago. And people that have been talking about what we should be doing, I'm just like, no, we're just gonna go and do it. Me and some teenagers went and did it, and now we're inspiring so many people to want to go and do more in their communities, and that's what I believe in, inspiring people.
I'm just taken aback because I'm thinking about what I was doing at the age of 21. I wasn't opening no school. That's for sure. Maybe opening something else, but I wasn't opening no school.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And some studies say that boys actually don't mature until about the age of 78. So how did you beat that system?
Well, I don't believe a man is a full adult till he turns 25. That's when the decision-making part of our brain is finished developing.
But you're 21.
Yeah, I do have a council of elders that I consult. I still make a lot of mistakes, trust me. I still do a lot of things. Of course, they aren't publicly aired, but I do a lot. But I do try to make, sound decisions, and I consult my elders, consult my managers, et cetera, for different decisions. Sometimes I may post something I ain't got no business, somebody call and spank me or whatever, like, take that down, stop being 21. It shows a lot sometimes. But for the most part, I know I have, children watching me. I have adults watching me, people that look up to me everywhere. So it's a lot for me, just trying to make sure I keep up that, not necessarily an image, but just making sure I'm on my P's and Q's.
Are you worried at all about cancel culture, that someday you're going to post something and then you're going to get canceled and then they're going to close your school? How do you navigate that? Do you operate with some level of fear because you're like, I don't want to get canceled?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm already doing an all-boys school, and then we're doing manhood training and teaching them, about their family, et cetera. I mean, somebody one day going to be like, so why you going to accept a girl and da-da-da-da. I'm just like, it's just...
Now, that's a question.
Yeah.
Because... It's 2021, let's be real about it. So
Absolutely.
What if somebody identifies as a boy on the inside? How would you deal with that?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to say this. The school will be an all-penis school, so I don't even care if a boy wants to come and identifies as a girl. Sure, absolutely. You're still going to get the same teaching. So is the school's mascot
going to be a penis?
No, the school mascot's not going to be a penis.
Just to reiterate the fact. You can't put that on the sign. This is an all-penis school.
No, absolutely not. But whatever we got to do to figure that out, I'm sure it's going to come, but we'll figure it out when time comes. But I don't mind accepting a boy who wants to be a girl. Sure, absolutely. You still got to wear the uniform. You still got to get taught these lessons, et cetera. So I don't mind that, but because I don't have a problem with that. However, even if a regular girl wanted to come to the school, this is an all-boys school.
Now, some folks gonna call you racist. They're gonna say, you're not allowing white boys in the school.
Oh no, we're allowing all races to come into school. I work with all races. So not just
black boys.
I've allowed all races. Now people see an over-influx of black boys at my program because our city is 74% black people. Now
and that's the city of
Albany, Georgia.
Okay.
Now I work with white children, Spanish children, et cetera, from the group homes, et cetera. But most children that you're going to see at our school are going to be black. Absolutely.
So I'm just curious, considering your political beliefs, curriculum-wise, what is it that you're going to be teaching them when it comes to the voting process, when it comes to affirmative action, and these are the tools that the government gives you to be accepted in these schools once you graduate from here? What does the curriculum look like, or will it look like for your school?
Absolutely. So we'll have obviously regular core math, science, social studies, et cetera, but we'll also have our separate things we'll be teaching, just like their actual history, true history, I like to call it, stuff that they're not being taught in school nowadays. We're also going to be teaching all the skilled trades. Every child will have a basic knowledge of all of the skilled trades, a basic knowledge. So you have a basic knowledge of painting, basic knowledge of welding, et cetera. Now, if you want to go into a certain tract or whatever, like full time, and want to do that, if you want to be a welder, then we'll have a space for you to go into that particular tract and get deeper into it. But every child will have a basic knowledge of how to fend for yourself in the wild, how to kill an animal, skin it, all of that stuff, how to find water, how to make a fire, how to fish without a fishing rod, just all of those little things in the wild. Then also just even with the graduation requirement, they have to go survive in the wild for 7 days, in groups of 20.
Really?
Absolutely. That's what I believe a rite of passage is for becoming a man. Not none of this stuff they be doing in these fraternities, spanking each other and all that goodness. No.
Spanking.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with all that, but I do believe, these boys, these are things that they like to do. They want to do these things, and I feel like for them, when they graduate, to be able to say, okay, we went and did this for 7 days, we done learned all this stuff since we've been in school, this is what's gonna make them feel like they've accomplished something, especially for those students who aren't academically inclined, et cetera, because we won't have grades at our school. It'll only be satisfactory and unsatisfactory.
Really?
Because
I remember those U's and I's.
That's it. Only two things, satisfactory and unsatisfactory, because some students will start thinking that they're not as smart as another child, or et cetera. I'm like, a grade don't make you smarter or dumber than another student. It just means they probably a little better at that subject, or you may not just be putting in the effort, because usually it's just memorizing, what you got to put on the paper. And I don't want any child to think that, oh, you're not smart enough, et cetera. So even with all of our little workshops that we do, et cetera, everybody gets certificates, et cetera, for what they do. Because some of my academically inclined students can't do none of the workshops because they just like, what, all this mechanic stuff. But everybody's different in their own areas. So I want to make sure the children don't feel like they're left out, or somebody feel like they're smarter than somebody or something like that. So I just want to make sure they understand that you all are equal in your own way, but you just got different abilities and different talents. And I want to make sure I hone in on those different abilities and talents and make sure that they thrive on where they are.
So I saw you say that you were trying to save black boys before they died or before they got killed.
Yep.
Did you experience something that gave you this passion? Was it something in your childhood that you saw that affected you, or that you say, this is missing and this is what I want to do to replace that absence? What really gave you the passion to do this?
Absolutely. So the particular quote you're talking about, I said on Roland Martin, I was saying I believe in saving young black men before they die, because a lot of us don't understand. It was after George Floyd happened, when my boys and I went and painted the mural, the I Can't Breathe mural in our city. The boys at that time, they weren't really interested in talking about George Floyd. They didn't care to talk about him. They wanted to talk about what had been happening in our city with their brothers and stuff being killed, et cetera, their cousins being killed, et cetera, on a daily. And I also did a podcast not too long ago with my boys, and when somebody asked a question in the chat, it was like, do you feel safe in your community? And it was like, no, because so much is happening all the time in black on black crime, et cetera. This has come out of their mouths, as teenagers. And I didn't teach them that. Nobody had to tell them that. That's something that came out of their mouths. They've been to jail and come, from different households, house arrest, et cetera. So they've dealt with these things. So to listen to these actual children who come from these areas, not talking about they scared of the police and all that stuff like that, they scared of what's going on in the communities every day. Those are things I want to talk about. So when I said that, I was actually saying before in another interview about how a lot of our boys actually do have a metaphorical knee on their necks at all times, but nobody's helping them. They're out here saying that they can't breathe, but nobody cares about them until they pass away, or when the system finally gets them. I'm just like, do you know that child been saying something for a long time, in this community, and we ain't do nothing about it because we decided not to care because we so used to what's going on in our communities every day. But finally, when the police come and shoot him after, he done committed a crime or something like that, then now it's a problem. I have an issue with that.
Right. So you're basically like a father figure to some of these boys. Do they not have fathers in the home, and are they looking at you to fill that role?
Yeah, over 90% of the children that I deal with do not have fathers in the home at all.
So what's that pressure like though? As a 21, you could be at the club, you could be doing anything. What is that? Do you not have temptations or guilty pleasures where you just get distracted every once in a while? What is that pressure like?
Well, yeah, I get distracted every once in a while, but I have custody of 2 of the children from the juvenile court system. So they live with me, but so I kind of have to be, on my P's and Q's. But I have like little things I like to do. I like to play video games sometimes, so I play video games with them. I should eat more than I do, but I don't eat as much, but I should, because I'm always moving around with them and doing stuff. But I enjoy what I do. I think that's one thing people don't understand. I actually enjoy what I do every day. I actually enjoy waking them up in the morning for school, and I enjoy having a fuss, enjoy having the discipline. Everything that I do, working with them, trying to build them up to better men, I love it. I enjoy it. Sometimes I like to go do stuff by myself or go read a book or things like that, but that's just, I've never been a partier. I don't like smoking or drinking, none of that stuff. I just never have been into that.
So you have custody of 2, so how many children do you have total?
I have 2.
2 children, okay. So I imagine there's no room for romance, right?
I mean, of course, absolutely, there's room for romance. My son's mother and I, yeah, but
it's complicated. Huh?
It's complicated,
Facebook
but
status is complicated.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But other than that, I don't think that's the most important thing, in my life right now.
But it's folks out here arguing about couples being equally yoked, and here it is that you're 21, you have custody of 2 children. The average 21-year-old is like, yo, I just bought my first, Hyundai. And you're like, well, I got a school.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you flexing. So partner-wise, is there anybody even good enough for a King Randall?
I'm not interested in, that conversation because I'm just not there. I'm not trying to, figure that out. And I don't feel like that's the most important thing I need to be worrying about. Because at the end of the day, me changing the children is my goal, and nobody's going to remember 20, 30 years from now who I decide to date. I'm just like, that's not
Just wondering because I
important.
think you may need support, with raising children. And
Of course, absolutely. My mom helps me, grandma helps me, et cetera. Baby King mom helps me as well. So, that's just kind of, I get help, absolutely. I definitely don't do this on my own, but most of the people that help me don't want to be talked about. They just do not mention me. Even people that donate different things and stuff like that, most of the time I want to say thank you on social media. It's like, please do not say anything. So most of the people that do really help me a lot just don't wish to be talked about. And that's how I know people doing it with a genuine heart too, because they don't be wishing for no praise or nothing like that. So, but yeah, as far as romance, I just don't get into that. I just don't have time. I don't care to have time. I just
wait on it.
Yeah, I just enjoy what I do. When I turn 30 something and I done built everything I got going on and I can sit back and eat chicken wings, with my shirt off and smoking a cigar, that's when I'll be like, okay, let me go find somebody.
You got your head on straight. Are you Black Jesus?
No, but I will say.
You got your head on straight.
I will say I am sacrificing my life for the betterment of others.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask a few more questions about the school. The school is not open yet, right? But it's in preparation.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what kind of teachers you gonna have? Is it all Black teachers, men? What kind of teachers you gonna have?
Right. So we can't say we want a mostly male staff. We can't say we want a mostly female staff, et cetera. But our local school system is actually working with us. We're actually working out logistics with them now. They'll actually be helping us and providing us with teachers for our school that they will pay. That's something that we don't have to do. We don't have to worry about, which makes it easier for us because one of the things that I was worrying about was I wanted to make the school free, regardless of it being a boarding school, et cetera. I wanted it to be free for those students who can't afford it. And only requirement that I have for the students to attend would be their parents coming to different workshops, different seminars, et cetera. Even therapy with their children. I want those things to be mandatory. Instead of them having to pay, you just got to show up a few times,
So those teachers are going to specialize in what it takes to teach a boy in that particular community, because you talked about some of the issues. How are you going to vet the teachers? Because every rapper has a line like, my teacher told me I wasn't going to be ish, right? How do you keep those teachers out of your school?
Right, that's just a vetting process, plus also monitoring teachers constantly. I know one thing I don't like about the public school system is they say they monitor the teachers, but they really don't monitor the teachers. And I think that it should be a constant, monitoring of teachers. But also we'll have our separate instructors as well. So we'll have teachers, then we'll have instructors. Those will be our quote unquote manhood instructors, the men that'll be around them at all times every day. When they're out of regular class, they'll be doing the life skills training, et cetera, just having conversations with them, disciplining, et cetera. The guys who'll be going with them on field trips. These instructors will be the guys kind of monitoring the teachers, et cetera, making sure everything's going on okay. Even the nighttime instructors, making sure the children are sleeping okay, et cetera. But these teachers, we just have to, you can't vet everybody as much as you want to. But you just have to make sure, you're constantly monitoring, asking children questions. All the children will be doing mandatory therapy, every last one of them. That's something I believe, is important. And those things we'll be able to find out in therapy, et cetera, because they'll be able to have a chance to tell, anonymously, if a teacher's bothering them, et cetera. I do want these things to happen because I want it to be a great environment for those students, as well as the teachers teaching there too.
That's good. So menu-wise, what you thinking as far as food? Are you gonna require that the cafeteria cook has the hairnet? because
Course.
if she don't, and also just a quick tip: the lower the breast hang, the better the vegetables are going to be seasoned.
Of course,
So,
and you got to think about that meat back down the back
yeah,
of
if
that
you don't
arm,
have
too.
this meat,
It got to hang just a little bit.
as a cafeteria cook, that means you can't.
Right, and
you
the
can't
mold,
cook
and
meat.
with that one mold right there.
You got to have a mold that's
Yep.
moving as you go through the cafeteria line. So
Yeah.
menu-wise, what are you thinking? Because health is a major issue in the Black community for, you know, I've heard you say how some of the girls look really advanced physically. Some of the boys look really advanced. So what are we thinking as far as menu? We doing organic food, vegetarian options? What we doing?
Absolutely. So we'll be using some farmland that we're planning on acquiring soon. They'll be growing their own food that we'll be eating all the time. This will be year round. They'll be eating seasonal food. So as the seasons go by, they'll be eating what's in season. There will be meat at our school. But
What about chitlins? Is chitlins?
No, definitely not.
Not chitlins.
I don't believe in pork.
That's not meat?
Yeah,
That's
I don't.
meat, ain't it?
Nah, that's guts.
Skin, something.
And
Yeah, I've never had
butthole.
chitlins. I don't know what.
Yeah,
what they are.
that's pig guts and pig butt. I don't see how people continue to eat that.
So it could be an all penis school, but chitlins is where you draw the line.
Yeah, chitlins is where
Gotcha.
I draw the line.
Okay.
Absolutely, but there will be meat, but it will be plant-based. I know people get vegan and plant-based confused. Plant-based meaning you just eat a plant-based diet. That don't mean you don't eat meat still, because I do believe in them having the necessary nutrition from everything. I went to culinary school. I have a nutrition degree. I know what's important for.
Is that right? So what's your signature meal?
I don't have a signature meal. Culinary school kind of took me away from wanting to cook because it was so much that we did for those 2 years, and I was still in high school when I got my degree, so it was a lot.
Of course you were. Of course.
Yeah, but it was a lot for me doing that, and it's like it took my love of cooking away. But when I do cook, it's great. Ask the boys. But yeah, their meals will be catered to what their training will be like. Every day they'll wake up at 6 o'clock to 7:30, working out every day. Whether that be light working out or they're clanging and banging in the gym. Every day they'll be working out because
That's the Marine in you.
Yeah, that's the Marine. That's the Marine in me. They'll be getting a lot of working out, but I want to make sure they're healthy too because I want them to get used to and in their routine taking care of their bodies, because your mind can be taken care of, you can be mentally taken care of, but you got to be physically ready for anything too. So that's extremely important to me. So we'll be basically basing their meals off of what their training schedule is like.
Great. Well, I really do wish you luck.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations in advance on being a legend, getting the NAACP award. Just one last question. I know you're dealing with 11 through 17. That's your age group. We're talking about the TikTok watchers, the YouTube watchers. They come across all kind of stuff. If one of your boys come to school and say, "Mr. King, what's a throat baby?" What is going to be your response? How you going to handle questions like that?
You know what's funny? Somebody asked me that in another interview, and I'm just like, I'm gonna tell them straight up. My boys know I don't sugarcoat anything with any of them. They even can come to me for condoms if need be.
Yes.
I have real conversations with them because I'm not one of those people like, oh, you better not be out there having sex, or you better say no to drugs. I'm just being real. I'm like, look, these are the effects of drugs. This is what it can do to you, etc. I know you're gonna do whatever you want to do on your own time. However, I'm gonna encourage you not to do that. Now, however, I try to make sure I'm the biggest influence in their lives too. That's extremely important. So I know if I'm walking my walk and they're watching me and paying attention to me and look up to me, I just know some stuff they're just not going to get into because Mr. King wouldn't do it.
Tell them to stay away from them edibles.
Yeah.
If you're going to suspend them for something, it's got to be the edibles.
Absolutely, but for me, there's no suspension. I don't believe in suspension or ISS. It really just depends.
Punishment, none of that.
Yeah, if they beat somebody down and, bust their head open or something, yeah, of course they got to get, but as far as like, oh, they talking too much or something like that, come on, man, Eric, you just going to get some good discipline for that. That's about it.
Yeah, because in public schools, of course, black students are suspended more.
It's just so much stupid stuff that go on. Like nowadays, thinking about the things that I went through in regular school, no silent lunch, and you can't talk here, you can't talk there. I'm just like, I'm a 8-year-old boy. I can't talk nowhere, can't go play, I can't go throw a pencil across the classroom. I'm 8, but then you want to say a child got ADHD because they can't sit down for 8. Like, come on, bro. And half of that stuff just be nonsense, but I want to make sure this environment is fostered for that. Plus, there are many statistics and data tables to show that, boys and girls learn better when they're in separate locations. That's through a lot of statistics. Anybody can go Google that. Boys and girls learn better separately because they learn differently. They do things differently. Plus, they're not trying to impress each other no more either when they're in separate locations, because you got to think 12, 13-year-old kid in middle school, they just now going through puberty, everything hot and ready, and they going to school and these little girls able to dress all kind of ways with the form-fitting this and the camel toes and all that. Yeah, these kids, them boys is, they come to school drooling.
Wait a minute now. Who, they got camel toes in elementary now? My Lord.
Talk to my kids.
Okay.
But it's absolutely, I think it's ridiculous, but other people will say, oh, well, you shouldn't be sexualizing. I'm just like, no. I'm just like, why are you letting your child go? I'm like, I would never let my child go out the door with his print showing and stuff. I'm like, come on, dude. That's just stuff.
There's the conservative side of you.
Exactly. I'm not doing that. That's going to come out every time. That's like, even with my daughter, like, we had this huge blowout one time on Facebook because somebody was like, it was this little girl picture up, and she had like, she was like maybe 5, but she had like a really cut shorts on, and it was like a sports bra and something, and it was like, would you let your daughter wear this around the house and there was company over or something? I was like, no. I said, first of all, my children wouldn't even be out the door anyway when company's over. That's something we learned back in the day. You go in the room when the company's here. I don't care if it's male or female, but at the end of the day, absolutely not. I'm not. Why would she have that on, in front of somebody was like, well, my child should be able to walk around naked if I burst. I'm just like, why would you? I'm just like, I don't know what's going on in somebody else's head. I can't control what's going on in their head, whether I know them good or not. Most molesting and raping and all that happened by family members, right. So I'm just like, and that happened to me, so I'm just like, I'm real cautious about that, but they was just like, oh, you're sexualizing children and should be able to wear what they want to wear. I'm like, okay, well, y'all do that with y'all children, around whoever uncle y'all want to do it around, but as for my kids, all of them put on some clothes, even my son and me. When my grandma come over, I put on a shirt, I put on pants, he put on a shirt, he put on pants. It is what it is, but nowadays there's this whole, well, everybody should be able to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, and nobody should have any consequences. I'm just like, okay, well, y'all do that on y'all own time, but at my house, we gonna be taking care of business. So.
And at your school, you're wearing uniforms.
Absolutely, yes. Everybody gonna have a uniform, but they'll have different uniforms as well. It won't be the same uniform every day. They have a dress uniform like for classy events. They have a combat uniform for like when we out in the field.
You might as well call this
like
military school, because this is what happened when I was in the Army. We had to dress blues.
But it won't be like as
clothes.
It won't be as strict like military school. But I just do uniforms to take. I don't say take that individualism away. It's just they put too much emphasis nowadays on what they got on and, oh, you ain't got the new shoes.
Yes,
and
it's the
that gets on my nerves.
Bullying, that's where that comes from.
That gets on my nerves. So I'd rather you bully each other about your shirt being wrinkled versus, oh, you ain't got the new Jordans, oh, them shoes old. Like the stuff they be talking about sometimes just like, grow up. Like they know me. I have on like a $40 pair of shoes and some jeans and a hat every day. That's just me.
Well, congratulations on everything that you're doing, and
I appreciate it.
I just heard you say that you had experienced molestation as a child. I just want to say I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, that's good. I'm not a victim from that. I'm good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just hope that you heal from that, because a lot of people have never even spoken about it before because they're afraid of what the parents may say, may not believe them. So you being truthful about that, I think, will help some people.
Absolutely.
So when does the school open, and how can folks get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, we'll be opening in the fall for instruction. The boarding school portion won't open for about another year, maybe a year and a half. We just have to do renovations to their sleeping quarters, et cetera, plus get the necessary licensing for us to be able to board students at the school, necessary zoning, et cetera. But people can get in contact with me at thexforboys.org. Everything is there, from social media to how to donate to all of our pictures, videos, et cetera, to how to get in contact with me, how to book me for anything, how to volunteer, how to order merchandise. Everything's on thexforboys.org.
You're gonna get booked for some debates next, right?
I ain't doing no debates. I don't have time. I debate with my work.
All right, so before you go, it's a little game I like to play. It's called What's Better. And,
okay.
Since you're in the school system, I'm going to challenge you on some school stuff, and you just let me know, in your opinion, what's better.
Let me drink some water. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. As you came with the facts today. We're going to see what they say in the comments.
Okay, all right.
But I think you came with the facts. All right, here we go. Corn dog or rectangle pizza?
Rectangle pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Nap time or recess?
Recess.
Recess, okay. Bus rider or car rider?
Car rider.
Car rider? Okay, but you had to listen to gospel the whole way there. When you on the bus, you can turn on a little rap, but you ride.
I don't mind gospel. I played drums all my life.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's because you're Black Jesus.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, open book test or no homework at all?
No homework.
Gotcha. Monkey bars or the swing set?
Swing set.
Okay. Were you that wild one who would swing way up in the air
and jump off? Yep, every time.
Okay, yeah, something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Crinkle fries or onion rings?
It depends on what burger I'm eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't never heard how many burgers are there.
Yeah, well, you got Burger King, and then you got what else?
So McDonald's, we want
Fuddruckers.
the straight fries.
Yeah, McDonald's straight fries are good,
The
but
heterosexual fries.
yeah, it just again it just depends. It depends. I
Okay.
can't answer that one good.
Now, when I'm eating catfish, I prefer crinkle fries.
Okay,
So I feel
all right.
what you're saying.
I got you.
Okay. Kickball or jump rope?
Jump rope.
Okay. Last but not least, hide and go seek or hide and go get it?
I say hide and seek. I don't want to go get it that easy.
Won't he do it? King Randall, thank you so much.
I appreciate
Delightful
it.
guest. Appreciate everything you're doing and spending this time with us.
I appreciate it.
Best
I
wishes to
absolutely
you.
enjoyed it.
All right, folks, that was our first guest, King Randall, a part of Come With The Facts. Did he come with the facts? Let us know in the comments. Did King Randall come with the facts? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Rita Brent. See y'all next time.
Let me get this up off you. You're looking
Thank
real
you.
good today, but I got one question. What's up with the hair?
What's wrong with my hair?
The color?
What's wrong with the hair color?
What's wrong with just natural black hair?
It's still my natural hair.
Sister, come on. You doing what the white people want you to do. The
Oh
white man,
my
come
God.
on.
So hair color is a race thing now? Okay, so who told you that? Blackopedia?
Black Twitter.
Tucker Carlson?
Who?
Tommy Loren?
No.
Sean Hannity? Right, so you don't know what you're talking about. So next time you come to me, make sure you come with the facts, bro. Can we do that, please?
Okay, you got it.
Right, just because it ain't nothing wrong with my hair. I have no idea what you're
Kenan,
talking about.
Dom, come help me out real quick, man.
Like, if you gonna say something, come with the facts. If you gonna say something.
You a fan of the Comedy Hype News Show? Take a piece of us home with you by purchasing your own mug from each of our correspondents. Available now at comedyhype.com/shop.